Hello, everyone, and thanks for coming. Hope we'll come in here and come into YouTube and get in with a discussion because that's what I would like. I would like for us to join together and get into a discussion about child abuse. Hope everyone's doing grand. I started off by sharing a little bit of knowledge. Go ahead and put it down to that bigger. So, understanding child abuse and its effects on mental health. Understanding the signs, symptoms, and impacts of abuse and how to keep children safe. Children are among the most vulnerable people in our society. This is true across continents, cultures, financial situations, and ethnicities. Our youth are a precious resource, and one we should guard carefully. Unfortunately, many kids are at risk or are currently experiencing child abuse. While we think of abuse as physical, cuts and bruises aren't a necessary component of child maltreatment. Physical violence is just one form of abuse that it can take. Other forms include sexual abuse, emotional abuse, and neglect. Child maltreatment can lead to serious mental health concerns, including anxiety, depression, substance use disorders, eating disorders, dissociative identity disorder, and post traumatic stress disorder. Keep reading to learn how to recognize child maltreatment, what child abuse impacts the entire family, how to seek help for a friend in your family or community. What is child abuse? Also known as child maltreatment. Child abuse is defined by the U.S. government as a parent or caregiver's act or failure to act that results in physical, sexual, or emotional harm. Well, really, child abuse, you can be somebody walking down the street and all of a sudden just hit your kid or slap your kid or do something to your kid. You don't have to be a caregiver. The Federal Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act defines child abuse as any physical, sexual, or emotionally damaging act, including neglect, that happens to a person who is under 18 years of age. Hi there, good to see you, Eric. Hi, Chris. Child maltreatment also increases the risk of many adverse physical and emotional conditions later in life. Yeah, it does because it slows our responses. Makes us a lot of times where we don't trust. We can have anger issues like the eating disorders, like she had talked about. At one time, I was afraid to eat. I was basically starving myself um, because I was afraid to get fat because I was always called fat and ugly. And then my husband was abusing me and saying the same thing. So that intensified that negative that I got as a child when somebody in my day to day life today who was supposed to be a significant other was supposed to help build you up, but they weren't. While parents are often the perpetrators, many other adults can commit child abuse as well. These include other family members, teachers, parents of friends, coaches, medical professionals, and spiritual advisors. Often the abuser is someone the child knows well and trusts. It is also important to note that child abuse can sometimes reference abuse by other minors as well. For example, reporting data from the U.S. Department of Justice shows that more than 1 in 4 cases of child sexual abuse are committed by other youth. A lot of times they're committing that. I'm not defending the child whatsoever, but a lot of times that's what the child is being delved into, being sexually abused as well, thinks it's normal, and goes ahead and abuses somebody else. It's not right. Physical abuse is any intentional, aggressive, or violent behavior toward a child. Not all physically abusive actions leave a mark. Evidence of physical abuse is not always obvious or easily seen. Physical abuse can include slapping, hitting, punching, kicking, shaking, shoving, burning. Corporal or physical punishment at home or in some cases at school is considered by many to be a form of physical abuse and can have long lasting negative effects on youth. Like times when teacher paddled the whole entire class, I didn't understand that because I was good. I didn't understand the other two paddlings in my life, which I know I didn't deserve them either. Somebody yanked my hair, and I was in the hallway. Um, my teacher walked away, and my twin sister's teacher was in charge of us, and she had told us not to turn around. I didn't want to turn around, but somebody kept yanking my hair, and I didn't turn around each time. But I was like, "Oh, it hurts," just thinking of myself. And then all of a sudden, when it pulled really hard, I didn't have no choice but to turn around because it hurt that bad. That's when she pulled me aside, and the guy did say, "Well, I pulled her hair." And when she pulled me aside, she said, "I'm not really paddling you for you turning around. I'm paddling you for thinking you're better than your twin sister." And I did not think that at all. Child sexual abuse. Child sexual abuse is typically defined as any sexual experience with a child, which includes sexual activities involving physical contact as well as activities that do not involve contact, such as exposure or voyeurism. I feel kind of sickly. There's a lot of people that take their pictures and their hands might be innocently on the child's breast. If it's a girl, she's young, you don't think nothing about it. But then later on, when you have understood that you went through some traumatic experiences and stuff, you find a little bit of fault like that. Couldn't his hand be elsewhere? You know, you can't help but think those thoughts when it's so much going on in our world today. The World Health Organization defines sexual abuse as behaviors that include fondling, penetration, and exposing a child to other sexual activities. It's important to recognize the definitions of sexual abuse emphasize the exploitation of adult authority and power as children are assumed to be incapable of providing informed consent. Y'all see that? And yesterday and today, we had all these cases where they were saying that these boys were, gay, and they weren't gay. They were forced to do these actions. They were exploiting. These adults were exploiting. The kids had no say so. The internet poses a risk of sexual abuse. While online, children can be coerced into sexual activities and the creation of sexually abusive videos and photographs. Y'all, please watch your kids where they go. Yeah, there's a lot of people that will mimic and say that they're a young kid and they go to their school. And like the kid sees a picture and tries to trust him. Oh, he's a dog. Man, he's cute. Yeah, I want to meet you. Yeah, I trust you. Well, meet me at the class. She goes outside, back behind the building, and guess what? Never seen from or heard from again. There's one girl somebody told me about this, I think, 2 days ago, where a girl did just that, and the guy took her to an abandoned house. She was found deceased, just raped and killed. It is important to note that while sexual maltreatment of children is widely prevalent, the risks include greatly in crisis situations. The abuse may result from sex trafficking, armed conflict, or intimate partner violence, domestic abuse. The UN Security Council identifies sexual violence against children as one of the six grave violations affecting children the most in times of war. Sexual violence can be used to humiliate a population and create displacement. I told y'all before that my dad had been in the military in other countries and he kept being put in the brig because him messing with kids. My brother thinks that I should look at him as a hero, all the things he done with the sexual exploiting and everything. And no, that's not a hero to me. Then I had other people around who said, "Yeah, we were in the army over there, and our the guy in charge told us to go over there and be raping kids." He said it was so much fun, and I said, "Do what? Seriously? You think that was fun? I mean, raping a kid in that other country? I don't care whether you do it in another country or you do it in our country. It is still wrong." Emotional abuse or emotional or psychological maltreatment includes behavior that attacks a child's basic emotional needs or consistently prevents such needs from being met. Emotionally abusive treatment communicates to children that they are unlovable, endangered, worthless, and flawed. Yes, I felt all that. Unlovable, I wasn't worthy of love. It can include name calling, rejection, withholding love, or threats of various consequences or punishments. Chronic yelling, swearing, and insults are also psychologically abusive, as are manipulation and mind games. Neglect. Neglect is any failure to provide for a child's basic needs, in addition to physical needs such as shelter, clothing, and food. Your mom used to threaten me. I'm sorry to hear that, Eric. I'm sending you a file. Don't use this file yet. Case still open. I'm putting this in your PM. Okay. Is it the same one you sent me the other day? I do got a copy of that, or is it something new? Essential care for children includes providing understanding and empathy. When children don't have such support, they are less likely to develop a robust, optimistic, and resilient approach to life. And you think, you dang kids, why can't they understand it? Why can't they just go on with it? Yes, they grow, they learn from experience, but how you treat a kid, are you treating them like they matter? Are they being raised in a fashion that how God would want them to be raised? Are you treating them with a love and respect? Are you giving them confidence, showing them? Or you, even at a young age, when your kid is like, I should have done it myself. I knew better than believe that you could do it. Are you talking to your kid that way? Are you over there saying, "Oh, you stupid thing," or "You're such a klutz. Why don't you just be quiet? I wish you were never born." Any of y'all heard that kind of stuff? I did. I know a couple of y'all other that are listening probably heard it too. Children should be seen and not heard. I'll give you something to cry about, right? I'm sure a lot of us have heard that. Essential care for children includes providing understanding and empathy. When children don't have such support, they are less likely to develop a robust, optimistic, and resilient approach to life. In the U.S., 1 in 7 children experience abuse, when the CDC considered an underestimate due to underreporting. Okay, you can send it to me. How common is child abuse? Child abuse is common. The Centers for Disease Control reports that at least 1 in 7 U.S. children have experienced abuse or neglect in the past year. This is likely an underestimate because many cases are unreported. Or so, back in our day, you go like this and you could just be pulling a kid through the store by the earlobe. You see that plenty of times, the parent grabbing the ear. That really could do a lot of damage too. Okay, thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate it. According to UNICEF, around 15 million girls between the ages of 15 to 19 have experienced non-consensual sex. According to WHO, nearly three-quarters of the world's children between the ages of 2 and 4 receive some form of physical punishment from their caregivers. The organization End Corporal Punishment states that only 14% of the world's children are legally protected from corporal punishment. The CDC states that in 2020, in the U.S. alone, more than 1,700 children died from abuse and neglect, or a combination of the two. And there are still that's a lot that's missing. So we don't know, and with the ones that's missing, if they're deceased or not, right? CDC also shares that in the U.S. in 2018, child maltreatment cost 592 billion, an economic burden on the magnitude of other widespread public health concerns such as heart disease and diabetes. PTSD is rampant with us. A lot of us that had a death, anxiety, stress. Oh man, if there's something like a loud noise all of a sudden, and somebody could come up and bang hard, or if you hear thunder real loud or something, you're talking about me being a nervous wreck for a little while. Signs of child abuse. It can be hard to recognize abuse. While the following signs may indicate negative situations other than child maltreatment, they may suggest that a child is being harmed or otherwise experiencing adversity. Adults should be aware of sudden changes in behavior, such as aggression or anger, fearful responses, or decline in academic performance, depression and anxiety, unusual paranoia or phobias of certain places, people, or situations, disturbed sleep or nightmares, no apparent caregiver or parent in the child's life, poor appearance or hygiene, constant hunger, or other health problems, fear of going home. Oh man, I'm so afraid of going home. What I used to do when I was, I guess when I was about 9, 10, 11 years old, I would run to our bedroom window and watch to see which parent it was that's coming up the driveway first. And I would know, like, even though they worked at the same place, they drove different vehicles because dad was a truck driver. And sometimes he had to go off with driving a truck anyway. But anyway, I watch out the window, and if it was my stepmom coming up that time, like, oh no, 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 this is gonna be bad. This is worse. No, no, no. I'd rather see daddy come in right now, right? And then other times it's like, no, 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 I'd rather see her. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. But all depending on which parent come in that day, a lot of time is a big stressor. Hurry back, Chris. Hello, Dusty Rain. Would you like to get up in the box? How are you? Hope you're doing well. What to do when child abuse occurs? Child abuse is an incredibly stressful, toxic, and heartbreaking situation for the victim as well as others. If abuse is suspected or confirmed, it is critical to take action. What children should do. Child abuse is never the child's fault. Society has a responsibility to care for children, especially those who are not old enough to care for themselves. I'm waiting for more people to come in here if they want to get up in a box and have a discussion. Children can seek help by talking to trusted adults, including a teacher, principal, or counselor at school. Did you notice it said trusted adults? It's not telling you to talk to any adult, it's saying talk with a trusted adult, a coach, mentor, or spiritual advisor the child trusts, a friend's parent or neighbor. An adult is better equipped than a child to figure out what to do and can help to support or protect the child while the situation is addressed. Children who do not have the help of a trusted adult can contact Child Help, the National Child Abuse Hotline, at 1-800 4A Child. The number 4, letter A, Child. Agents are available 24/7 to answer calls and texts from children who need help escaping abuse. Everything is completely confidential. Children who are in immediate physical danger should contact the police. When I was in danger, I couldn't contact the police. It's a matter of finding someone you can trust. If the child is not comfortable contacting the police, they should go to a safe public place, such as a hospital, library, or school, and talk to someone who can help. And see what parents should do, what adults should do. Adults who notice child maltreatment have the responsibility to report it. When the abuse is happening in your own home or extended family, this might feel very difficult. For those who are worried about the consequences to themselves or their family, if they talk about or report abuse, calls can be made I'm getting tongue tied, sorry. Anonymously to the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline, the 1-800 for a child. The Child Help Hotline also helps those who lack support or worry about their own treatment of children under their care. The hotline staff will share resources to relieve some of the burden so those struggling can remain the best parent or caregiver they can be. For teachers or other professionals, it's important to become thoroughly educated about the signs of child abuse. Community members can help families destigmatize abuse by telling their stories, directing children to youth programs, or referring them to mental health resources for young people. Suicides, suicide know the signs and what to do. Abuse causes traumatic ripples throughout the entire family and can prevent the formation of healthy bonds. It can lead children with an unhealthy impression of family life, which they may carry into their own families later on. Abuse can cause negative impacts on a society wide level. It's important to note that not all abused children will develop maladaptive behaviors. Many still learn strong coping mechanisms if they have the help or at least one trusted caregiver. Some children have an innate sense of optimism that helps them. However, research shows that abuse can lead to an array of negative behaviors and health outcomes. And here's some of the mental and emotional consequences. Y'all, please come in and y'all want to get up? Let's discuss this. Mental and emotional consequences. Childhood abuse has mental and emotional consequences. Children who experience abuse are more likely to develop anxiety, depression, and memory issues. Children may block out traumatic memories. Sometimes this can lead to memory issues and other problems that affect areas of life beyond the abuse. Devil me. Shame and guilt often also result with children sometimes blaming themselves for the situation or viewing themselves as somehow defective. They may feel guilty for failing to say no or for getting pleasure from a sexual situation they did not want to be in. In order to hide the abuse from others, they may withdraw, isolate, and have a hard time making friends. People who experience childhood abuse may have intrusive thoughts, flashbacks, and nightmares, which can be symptoms of PTSD. Abuse can also result in emotional numbing, social isolation, and panic. There can also be physical reactions that disrupt the body's normal functioning by impairing both mental and physical processes. I have a friend in Alabama. I'm not going to say the location or whatever or his name, but he was badgered so bad and bullied at school horrifically. They actually picked him up and would throw him in a garbage can. They'd pick him up, dip his head down in the toilet, even when there was feces or pee in it. They did all kind of sick, twisted stuff. This guy is now over 60s, probably right around 65. He still has problems getting out in public. He avoids public like the plague. This had caused the adverse reaction, was always looking over his shoulder, being timid, being shy, afraid to trust anybody. So that's got long-going effects on this guy. It is important for children to work through the effects of abuse in healthy ways. Ideally, they can do so under the care of mental health professionals. When distress means unaddressed, children can carry self-developed coping strategies such as avoidance and numbing into adulthood. And that's what he's doing. He's avoiding and he's numbing out his pain, right? Caregivers should learn how to recognize signs of mental health concerns in children. While abuse is not the only cause of emotional trauma, it's often a contributing factor. When the abuse is sexual, societal stigma can create an extra layer of shame or reluctance to speak up. When some signs of distress go unaddressed, they can increase and develop into suicidal ideation or other types of self-harm, like cutting, burning oneself. Risky behavior studies have found that child maltreatment is correlated with a greater tendency toward risky behavior. This can include risky sexual behaviors such as having sex at an early age or having multiple sexual partners. However, abuse is also linked to increases in other types of risk-taking behaviors. Y'all told I told you about the stupid game I would play when I was a kid. It was risky. The train was stopped. I didn't care whether or not um, the train would run over me or not. I just want to go from one side of it to the next, see how many times I could get across. I was tired of not being fed. I was tired of not having a sleep in. I was tired of being told that I was a mistake. I was tired of being told if you want to eat, you need to go prostitute yourself out. So I was tired of living that life, y'all. So I played that little dangerous game when the train was stopped at first. When I heard it start moving, that's when I started going back and forth to see how many times. But the funny thing is, my foot got hung in between um, the board and the rail, that metal, and my shoe was still stuck there. And I got my shoe out in time and everything as well too. So thank God about that. But after that, I never played that game again. The neighbor had told my mom about me doing that, and she said, "Well, that's good. I'm tired of her anyway." So I wish she would die. For instance, a 2020 study of adolescent and young adult females found associations between childhood abuse and antisocial behaviors such as lying, stealing, trespassing, vandalizing, like graffiti, and physical fighting. Evidence also suggests that child abuse is linked to later increases in substance misuse. Children who experience any form of maltreatment are more likely to engage in smoking, drinking, and or drug use when they grow up. Substance misuse increases their risk of overdose, substance dependency, health problems, and engaging in abusive behaviors in their own families later in life. And even if you are not an abuser to somebody else, you can start being abusive to yourself, trying to kill yourself, try to do different things because you're just tired of it, you know? You don't see light at the end of the tunnel, but I want to tell you there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You can make it through. If I made it through, you can make it through. Want to share that, express hope and love and guidance. Obesity. Research has found a link between childhood abuse and obesity. As with any other chronic health condition, many factors play into whether an individual develops obesity. Of course, not all people who have obesity experience abuse in childhood. However, people who experience abuse may gain excess weight for the following reasons. In an effort to cope with negative feelings that results from childhood abuse, either current or in the past, individuals may turn to food as comfort. People may put on weight in intent to desexualize themselves to prevent abuse from happening again. I noticed when I was married, after I got divorced years later and I had a boyfriend, and I went and got the medical records from back when I was married, uh, my boyfriend was coming over the records with me. He said, "Did you realize something?" I said, "What?" He said, "The last couple of years, every weeks, you had a new bone break. So that ended up causing so much fluid and retention since it was unable to get out of bed at times because the new bone breaks, the shoulder dislocations, the hip, the leg. I mean, so much going on. It wasn't funny. Pregnancy, STDs, and health risk. Sexual abuse correlates to youth pregnancy with both immediate and long-term consequences. Sexual violence against youth can result in pregnancy. However, research also shows that experiencing sexual violence in early adolescence is linked to subsequent pregnancy, not related to the abuse circumstance later in adolescence. So when it's going like this, is there some reason why history of childhood abuse can be a factor? Abuse was normalized in childhood, so it feels familiar. Feelings of anger, inadequacy, and insecurity. Attempts to rewrite the narrative by engaging in a relationship with a new abuser, but creating a different outcome where the abused person triumphs over the abuser. Now, I'm sick and tired of a lot of people saying, well, you were abused. So, we're thinking that maybe you wanted your husband, you found a mate that would abuse you as well. I beg to differ because when I met him, he actually protected me and defended me against these perpetrators. So it was completely different. I was not looking for somebody in my life to abuse me like I was being abused. I want to tell y'all, there's hope out there. If it had not been, I believe God intervened in my life for so many times. How are you doing today, Dusty? Does anybody got anything they'd like to say? And anybody can come up and talk. Come over from Facebook and get in this chat. And let's have a discussion where I'm not the only one talking. Sorry, I have to take me a drink here. So, what y'all's takes on this? What subject of child abuse would y'all like to discuss? Anyone? I appreciate you sending me that link over there, Chris. Appreciate you. So what are we going to do? Have y'all noticed the latest news where it's been found? You would, but you don't have headphones? But you don't need headphones. I think it'll be all right, Chris. Let's go ahead and let's try this, okay? And Eric, if you feel like it too, you can get in there, but I mean, you don't have to show your faces if you don't want to. I want this to be a good discussion with all of us. Send the link right there to you, Chris. Hello, Martin. Thank you for sharing. And watching. Thanks for coming in and watching. Do you see the link there? Because it should be pretty simple. Click on it and you will hear me better. I need a headphone. Oh, okay, you don't have a headphone with the mic? Okay, that's understandable. So you got any thing you want to type in here, let people know, or any kind of questions? Anybody can come in here and ask questions too. Because the more we stand up, the more we teach, the more we train, the more we get these things out there. Um, I am glad. I'm disappointed in a way, very disappointed in our government, and I want to thank. Let me see the person's name yet again. Hold on a minute. I want to thank the Conspiracy Files at YouTube. I want to thank you so much for going and finding out the information. I shared with some of y'all on Facebook Messenger, but he's here at YouTube as well. And they look him up. He found out when he done an investigation that there are 5,000 plus pedophiles working for the U.S. government. I kid you not. There are 5,000 plus pedophiles working for the U.S. government. And he put, here's the proof. No wonder people get slapped on the wrist when they do these sex crimes. No wonder they keep letting them out of jail with bond. Like these other people have something on them. And as this guy says, thank you so much for Conspiracy Files at YouTube, and I heard you got a Facebook as well. But thank you for going to the different country and going around and finding this information out. And thank you for not being silent. I appreciate you for exposing this. It's horrendous. It's devastating. When our government itself, over 5,000 working for the government, 5,000 plus pedophiles, sick and disgusted. No wonder you wanted God brought out of our churches. I mean, out of our schools, out of our courtrooms. No wonder, huh? But you want to put your hand on the Bible and do this, that, and other, like an oath, kind of like mocking it, isn't it? I have y'all to know kids are a gift. Kids are not to be treated in this manner whatsoever. We put y'all in the government because we needed people who was going to stand for us. But guess what? You're not doing your job. When you're out there, you're messing with our kids. You're not doing your job. How dare you? You need fired right away, ASAP. You need locked under the jail. You don't need to see the light of day. I'm so mad finding that out, but I'm glad I found that out. Anybody that's my friend, if you did not see the link, hit me up in my Facebook Messenger, and I will be glad to share the link with y'all. But y'all look it up on here at YouTube. Its name is The Conspiracy Files. The title of the video that was 7 hours ago. There are 5,000 plus pedophiles working for the U.S. government. Here's the proof. On the Hill, what they did to these kids. Yes, exactly. And I don't know why God kept me from alive through all that. There's been many a times when they tried to kill me, okay? I don't know why God did that. I thank Him for bringing me through. But a lot of people say, well, He kept you alive for this reason right here. I'm like, maybe, but people say, well, you're strong, you're brave. No, 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 no. Don't put that on me and say that I'm strong and I'm brave. No, I'm not. I am scared. Well, not really as scared as I normally would have been, but I'm kind of shy, even though y'all might not believe that. I'm timid. But I don't want to take the credit away from where the credit really belongs. It belongs to Him. Yeah. And I just want to cry because look at all these kids. Look at all these missing kids. Look what all they're doing to our kids. They're not just doing that for the sake of doing scaring them when they get this type of stuff on their face, for the makeup and stuff to make themselves look younger. No, they're not. And they're not just doing it for sexual gratification either. They're not just doing it for um, do pornography, pedophilia. They're not just doing it to that. They're actually going and murdering our kids. Some of them are going and sorry, it's going to make y'all sick. Trigger warning. Need to put up a trigger warning banner up here. They might have a light stomach. But there are some people that are actually consuming our kids, but y'all know about that. Y'all know what I mean by consuming. I know it sounds gross and vile, but I'm being realistic. Like that kid I showed today, I pray that he is still alive today. I pray. That person is now 61 years old and has been missing since her 10-year-old in Massachusetts. I was in somebody's stream and the cousin put up there about her cousin missing. So the story I did today was for somebody who was saying on another live stream, saying, this ain't getting recognized. My cousin deserves to be out there. The story, people really we need answers for the family, right? It's been 50 years since he's been missing from Massachusetts. 50 years. And when he went missing, his mom said he could go shine shoes because he wanted to go get her as either a Mother's Day gift or a Valentine's gift. They give. He uh, did go. He went to a restaurant and he put down. He wanted something to eat and some milk, and he left his shoe shine box right there. And he said he'll come back and get his shoe shine box. He never returned. This was a non-adult, non-kinfolk type of thing that took this little child. We heard of all these stories about what's happened to kids up north and all the bodies and stuff. And Lord, I hope and pray that that didn't happen to him. I hope and pray that somebody was good to him. That was just need a kid. I hope that something simple like that. We all know better, but that family deserves answers. We all have been looking for Summer Moon Utah Wells here in Tennessee. We all been looking for Sebastian Rogers here in Tennessee. We look for Joe Clyde Daniels, even though the parents are in jail for they confessed to the murder, but the body's never been found. They didn't even find any kind of stuff where he had said that he beat the child in the house. There was no blood spread or whatsoever. So I kind of think that some people do say that they get coerced into a saying that they did it. I don't really know because there's no evidence to pinpoint that the parents did do that on that one case. But we need answers, people. These kids deserve it. These kids deserve, if they are still alive, to be treated and shown love and respect and that they matter. And if you're an adult and you went through this kind of thing, you need to hug yourself inwardly. Just hug yourself and say, you deserve it. I was a kid that did not get this kind of treatment, but I deserve it. You might say, well, I can't do that for myself, but would you want me to say, well, I can't do it? I mean, would y'all want me to belittle myself? I don't think y'all would, but I'd like to see y'all give yourself some self love and respect, treatment. Know that you matter and show yourself some love and some compassion. Forgive yourself for the things, even though it wasn't your fault. A lot of times we do blame ourselves. Give ourselves, for making some of the wrong choices, like if we turn to alcohol or self harm. Let's forgive ourselves, right? Guess I'm on a soapbox, Bill. I hope these are words of encouragement and of love. But nothing but compassion and love for y'all. You matter. Even if nobody else ever told you, you matter. Let's hope other people came in here and joined in the discussion. It looks like I really said a lot. I'll say thank y'all. And God bless each and every one of y'all. Don't lose hope. Please don't lose hope. You do matter, okay? I say thank you. I say God bless you. God bless each and every one of y'all. Thank you so much.